today I'm gonna take this raw file taken in the streets of Hong Kong and I'm gonna turn it in a much more interesting picture in no more than 5 minutes using Lightroom, so let's jump right into it. Let's bring up the shadows, bring down the highlights to retrieve all of this highlight detail in the signs. And because it's a little bit dark, let's just blast up the whites to as much as we can reasonably do. Now I want to add a little bit of contrast, minus blacks, add a lot of clarity to really bring out the texture here, and also go into the minus D haze. What this will do is just lift up the shadows, will make everything a lot more filmish looking, and you could really have a super contrasty picture, but then just go into the minus D haze and get that kind of look, which works fantastically. So now let's actually bring down the vibrance and in exchange bring up the saturation by a lot. And let's just see. I think what I'm going to do is go into the split toning right away and just add some more warm tones in the highlights, so in the bright parts of the picture, and then go into the shadows, the dark parts, and add a very distinct artistic, bluish tone like this, almost kind of close to the green tones. And after I'm done with that, I'm just going to go down into the calibration because I think I want to change the red tones to a little bit more distinctly just purple, I guess. Bring up the saturation a bit. And also the blues. As you can see now, the blues are very usual bluish, but I want to make them very light blue like this. And look how much more they punch. And I'm even going to bring up the saturation to make that even more distinct. Now, vignetting works great in night pictures, in cityscape pictures, adds a lot more attention on the center, just makes the corners darker, of course. And one thing that I don't like is that the shadows are still too dark. So I'm going to bring up the shadows here, and that way we have this kind of faded out look, while still everything is very contrasty, which is really cool. Now, another thing I'm going to do is grab a graduated filter over the top right, and I'm going to do that with plus exposure, plus whites, minus clarity to make it very dreamy, faded out, and even go a bit further into the minus D haze, although really minus 2 or something. And now we have some differentiation from the top right to the top left, and if Lightroom would actually show me that filter, then I could adjust it. Alright, there it is. So you can see we have some differentiation compared to before. It just looks very even, and now we have a light source, even if it's artificial. And I'm even gonna make that even stronger, that effect, by adding another graduated filter, this time with a negative exposure, nothing else, over the bottom left. And you know what, let's just add a big graduated filter, and this is actually a thing I've been doing for quite a while now. In these kind of pictures, it can really work if you have a big graduated filter and put them sort of in the center area, but not quite in the center, just kind of center-ish. And then what you want to do is bring up the whites and just make it overall brighter, punchier. You could even add a different color, so a different blue tone or even a warm tone. But actually in this case, why not just add a little bit more light blue color, just like this. And now if I show you before this graduated, or rather radial filter to after, you can see that it's just an additional point of interest. It's kind of dark and burning with just one filter, and it can actually do quite a lot if you don't overdo it. So I think this is where I'm actually, let's go into the Hsl tool and just bring up the blues even more. I also want to bring up the orange tones though, so let's just grab this little pinpointer and move up the mouse. That way it will automatically grab all of the colors that are in this color. And let's also bring the hue right here more towards kind of the yellow tones, I think, rather than these very distinct oranges. And with that being said, I think I'm done. So let's see, this is the raw file, and this contrasty dark bright, not really interesting in that sense, but afterwards we really have all of these signs punch and stand out, and maybe it's a little bit too much, I'm gonna admit about that. But I really love this style, and you can kind of see how much you can achieve in just 5 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to check out any of my presets that I use when editing, I've just released them. They're in the link in the video description. You can buy them, you can use them for Lightroom to edit cityscape and landscapes and all kinds of pictures. So that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.